Hi everyone, it's Anja here. I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and guess what? Yes, I have started a new blanket. You remember I went to the craft fair a couple of months ago? Well, I bought from Black Sheep Wools, I bought the après ski blanket because I liked the colours. And this is the list of colours. I will put them in the description box below, so you can go and have a look at those there. Now the thing is, I am already making a blanket in this granny cluster pattern, and I sort of didn't fancy doing another blanket in that pattern, although it's very easy and it's very pretty like this. I have decided to use this pack. Use the list of colors here. So use this color sequence to make a blanket with a different stitch. And this is the feathers and fan stitch. I am also making a chevron blanket. Don't stop frowning now. I know I've got a lot of things on at the moment, but they're almost nearly finished, and yeah, that's my excuse. Because it's nearly finished, I have to start a new one, so I have more work. So this is the blanket that I have started. Yes, I promise I will finish the other ones first, but I just wanted to film this for you now. And you know, I have the chevron one, which is like pointy. This one here is wavy, and it has little holes in it. And I think it's really, really cute. It's not a pattern where you're not thinking about it, but it is very simple. You can do this while you're watching TV or Netflix or whatever. So I am going to continue with this, obviously. But first of all, I am going to, in this color, which is raspberry, I am going to explain to you how the pattern works. For this pattern, I am using my 4 hook, and it's just all Stylecraft Special Decay. And for my pattern repeat, I need 17 stitches. That means you have to repeat the 17 so many times until you have the width that you would like for your blanket. So for my blanket here, I have repeated it 12 times. And so 12 times 17 is 204. So for my starting chain, I chained 204, and that gives you a blanket which is about 125 or 25 centimeters wide, and that's perfect for a single bed size. So your unwavy chain will be longer, but then it waves, and then it's it contracts a little bit. So that's fine for me. That's perfect for what I want. So I am going to show you the pattern on a sample piece, or at least how to get started on a sample piece, and then I will do some more on my blanket. So I have chained here to do 3 lots of 17, which is 51. So here I am going to, this is the 51st first stitch. So here I am going to place a stitch marker. I always like to do that because it just makes things a little bit easier for deciding where you have to put that first stitch. Then, so this is our first stitch. Then we are going to chain 2. I chain 2 for a double crochet or a treble crochet in UK terms. So make sure that you do the chains that you need to do. So now I am going to go into the 50th stitch. So into here. And I am going to do a double crochet. And in fact, we are going to do a double crochet all along the line. And yes, it is true, the first line of a blanket is the most boring one, so I suggest you put something nice on telly and do your line. So this here, the chain 2 counts as a stitch. I always go into this hole here. So I pick up 2 V's of the stitch of the chain. Some people only pick up 1, but I find, look, that opens up the stitch. And by picking up both, no, that's the one again. By picking up both, I've made it difficult on myself now. There we go. By picking up both, it just keeps it all nice and closed. There we go, see? So I will see you at the end of your line. I have come to the end of my line. I have done 51 double crochets or treble crochets in UK terms, and I am now going to chain up. My line is still straight, okay, so there's nothing special, just done 1 line of double crochets. So now you turn round, and this is when the fun is going to get started. Okay, so what we are going to do, we have done our chain 2. I am going to place another double crochet into that same stitch, because this chain 2 is going to count as a first double crochet. Another 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and we do the same again in the next stitch. So in the beginning, in the starting of your line, you have to make sure you do 3 lots of 2 double crochets, okay, and that one counts as a double crochet. Now we are going to skip a stitch, and we are going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. So really this pattern is all double crochets and chains to turn, so it's very easy. And we do this 5 times. So we do this until you have 5 double crochets, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we are going to skip a stitch, and in the next stitch you are going to do 2 double crochets. Again, same thing in the next stitch, 2 double crochets. Next one, 2 double crochets. We do this 6 times, so that's 3 times. This is 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. So 6 times you do 2 double crochets in the stitch. Can you see it? Look, it's already curling. I just think it's amazing how that happens. Okay, and then next thing we do, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, skip a stitch 5 times. So how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, skip a stitch. We do 6 times, 2 double crochets in a stitch. So 1 time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, 5, and let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, just once more, and we have done that part of our stitch. Next, skip a stitch and do a double crochet, skip a stitch, 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 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we have skip a stitch left, and then we have 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and we are going to skip a stitch in those 3 stitches. So at the end of your row you should have left 3 stitches, so you can do 3 times 2 double crochets in there. So I have to put this in that turning chain, and that's fine. There we go, that's the 6th double crochet of those 3 lots of 2 there. Okay, so if you put it down, you will see that it's already curling. Next, we are going to chain 2, because that's what I chain up. See, you turn, and we are going to do the row of double crochets again. So just a double crochet in every stitch around. Yeah, it's every stitch along, but this one here counts as a double crochet, so not in that first stitch here, because we've already done that as the turning chain. We are going to go into the next stitch and do our double crochet. Okay, so now we do a row of double crochets all along. So this is very simple, you don't need to think about it, just crochet a double crochet in every stitch along, and then you do the row again where we start with the 3 times 2 double crochets, and then where we skip those stitches and do the 5 double crochets and then the 6 lots of 2. Here obviously I am changing colors, so if you change colors, then this is what you are going to do. So what is my next color? The next color is petrol. So let me get it out. And here I have finished my row, and this is how I leave it. What I do now, I go into these 2 loops again, pull this one out, I take the new color, I hold it sort of that I am acting as if I'm just pulling it up. So instead of pulling up the green, I have pulled up the petrol, or the meadow in any case. Then I put this between my working yarn and my loop, and I do my chains. I then turn, and because I've laid that in between there, it now points to there, so I've not put in any ends, and I am just going to start crocheting over it. And I am going to start with doing my double crochet row. And this way you are weaving in your ends at the same time as you are starting your new row. There we go. And I am making sure I keep on going over those ends. Oops. There we go, look. And they're gone. So in a way, the only one that I'll have to weave in is the beginning one, and I like to leave this on because that way I know where my where my beginning is and where my right side and my wrong side is. It doesn't really matter, but it's just something that I do. And I am now going to continue on this, and I think it's creating a really nice effect, and doing it with that pack that I already had. I'm just thinking, well, I have the pack, I've done the stitch that the pack suggests, so why not change it to something that you fancy doing? So I hope I was clear in my instructions for the feathers and fan stitch, and do show me your creations on my Facebook page, and I hope you have fun doing this stitch. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!